I'm standing across the street from the Canadian Embassy here in Washington, D.C. Canada provides a sobering example of the carnage left behind in the march of political correctness that elevates homosexual behavior to a special protected status. Trampled underfoot of homosexual activists and their political allies are the cherished and fundamental freedoms of speech and religion. We don't have to guess what America could look like if a law like ENDA is enacted. We simply look to Canada.
We want to talk today a little bit about what's happened in Canada, particularly with respect to the issue of sexual orientation and how that is treated under the law in Canada. As you know, here in the United States, there are a number of localities and states that have passed non-discrimination laws that include sexual orientation, and there's a proposal at the federal level for an Employment Non-Discrimination Act. Now, you've gone through the same process in Canada already, perhaps a little bit ahead of the United States. Isn't that right?
We can serve, and this is what LifeSite News has been saying for years, we can serve as an apt illustration for Americans of what happens when you follow this road. We are your next door neighbors, we're right above you, and if Americans need to take note of what's happened in Canada and to learn the important lessons from what has happened up there.
Yes, I understand there's a Christian organization that provides social services named Christian Horizons. Can you tell us what happened with that organization?
Certainly. Well, Christian Horizons is an Ontario-based organization. It's one of the largest social service organizations in Canada and certainly in Ontario. I believe it serves approximately 1,700 disabled individuals in Ontario. Now, it was a solidly Christian organization. Employees who worked for the organization when they were hired were required to sign a lifestyle and morality statement as part of being hired. In order to be hired, they had to sign this and to agree to it. And that involved, basically, they agreed that they would not engage in certain behaviors that violated fundamental aspects of Christianity, and that involves such things as lying, fornication, viewing pornography. And one of those things was homosexual conduct. And there was a woman by the name of Connie Heintz, who I believe she was hired in 1995. She signed the statement at that point, agreed to it. She later came out as decided that she was homosexual, got into a relationship with a lesbian, and eventually this became public knowledge, and her superior spoke to her and said, "You did agree to this, we're a Christian organization. We need to deal with this." And basically what ended up happening is they tried to find her another position with another organization that didn't have a problem with this. They didn't fire her. In fact, she ultimately quit herself. She claimed later in court that she felt there was a poisoned work environment, and this is what...
She was not fired, you said, but she did end up quitting and then subsequently brought charges against her former employer?
Yes, well, what ended up happening is she used the Human Rights Commissions, as so many of these individuals have, and she filed a complaint with the Ontario Human Rights Commission claiming that she was... well, I think that basically she was subjected to a poisoned work environment. Not that she was fired, but that she was basically forced to resign because of the work environment that she was in. So this case made its way through the Human Rights Commission, went before the Tribunal, which decided against Christian Horizons and in favor of Connie Heintz. Christian Horizons was forced to pay 2 years' salary to her, as well as a sizable fine. But and here's the real kicker. I mean, this is the part that really, this is where you see the Orwellian aspect of these human rights commissions. All 2,500 employees of Christian Horizons were required to go through human rights training that would teach them acceptance and non-discrimination against homosexuality. So 2,500 employees forced to go through a program of government indoctrination about what they should believe about this issue.
They had to actually indoctrinate their own employees or submit them to indoctrination to change their attitudes about this.
Is this your vision for America's future? Religious organizations forced to put thousands of employees through homosexual sensitivity training because of one complaint? Let's learn a lesson from Canada and say no to special rights based upon sexual behavior that threatens our basic freedoms. Put an end to ENDA. Go to frcaction.org.